There's a new account with the government's name on it, and if your child was born recently, there could be $1,000 sitting there waiting for them. It's crazy, but that part is real. I want to walk you through exactly what a Trump account is, who qualifies, and the smart way to actually use one. So, let me show you. Let's start with a plain definition. A Trump account is a new type of tax-advantaged account for kids. It was created by the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which became law in the summer of 2025. Under the hood, it's a traditional IRA that has been set up for a child. That one sentence tells you most of what you really need to know about how it works. It's an IRA, it was built for the long haul, and the money grows tax deferred, meaning your child does not pay tax on the growth year to year. The account officially opened for business on July 4th, 2026. So, who can get one? Any child under 18 with a Social Security number can have a Trump account. There are no income limits on the family to open one. Now, here's the piece that gets all the headlines, though. For children born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, the federal government makes a one-time deposit of $1,000 into the account. The child needs to be a U.S. citizen to qualify for that $1,000 pilot deposit. And there's also a separate private program. A gift from the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation is funding $250 deposits for certain children aged 10 and under who live in lower income zip codes and were born before 2025. Most families will be focused on that $1,000 government deposit for a new baby, so let's build the rest of the picture around that. Once the account is open, other people can add to it. Parents, grandparents, family friends. The total from everyone combined is capped at $5,000 per year, and that number is set to adjust with inflation over time. Contributions run until the year your child turns 18. And here's a detail worth remembering. The money your family puts in goes in as after-tax dollars. It is not a tax deduction on the way in. The upside is your own contributions come back out as tax-free later because they were already taxed. Employers get a special role too. An employer can put up to $2,500 a year for an employee's child, and that amount counts inside the $5,000 limit. The employer money is not taxed to you when it goes in. It does get taxed later when it comes out. And one clean rule to hold on to, contributions from family were officially set to begin on July 4th, 2026. Now, if you're wondering where you actually open one of these accounts, you don't start by going to a brokerage firm and picking one yourself. You can actually go to trumpaccounts.gov or sign in with your IRS online account with ID.me and submit Form 4547 to elect to open the account. You'll need your child's Social Security number, date of birth, and address. And if your child qualifies for the $1,000 government deposit, this is also where you make that election. So the first step is really just to go through the official Trump account sign-up process, get the account established, and then you can begin funding it. Now, what does the money actually buy? And this is one of my favorite parts because the rules here protect families from a lot of common mistakes. Inside a Trump account, the money can only be invested in low-cost index funds that track a broad U.S. stock index. No individual stock picking, no leverage, no expensive or complicated products, and there's a hard cap on fees. The fund's expense ratio cannot be more than 0.1% or 10 basis points. For a small account that's going to hold money for decades, keeping fees that low matters a great deal. And let's get into the moment everybody wants to know about. What happens when your child turns 18? Starting January 1st of the year your child turns 18, the account stops taking new contributions and it begins to operate under regular traditional IRA rules. The investment restrictions come off and your child, now a legal adult, takes control of the account. And this is where I need to be straight with you because this part can be misunderstood. A Trump account is not like a custodial UTMA account that turns into a pile of spendable cash at 18. Again, this is a retirement account. If your 18-year-old pulls the money out to buy a car, most of that withdrawal gets taxed as ordinary income. And on top of that, there's generally a 10% early withdrawal penalty for taking money out before age 59 and a half. Between the tax and the penalty, a young adult could hand back a meaningful slice of the balance. There are a few exceptions to the penalty, like using up to $10,000 for a first home or a qualified education cost. But the main idea to carry with you is simple. This is a retirement account. This type of account rewards patience. It's built to be left alone. Let me make this real with one family and we'll follow them the whole way through. Meet baby Ava. Ava was born in 2026, so she qualifies for the $1,000 government deposit. Her parents open her a Trump account and elect that deposit. They then decide to add $100 a month, so $1,200 a year every year until Ava turns 18. Her grandparents chip in on birthdays inside that same $5,000 limit. Now, I want to show you the power of time, and I want to be careful and honest about how I show it. I'm going to use a hypothetical growth rate of 7% per year purely to illustrate how compounding works. That is an assumption for the math, not a prediction. Real markets go up and down, including years with losses. With that caveat front and center, here's the shape of it. Money invested for a newborn has almost 2 decades to grow before adulthood, and then potentially 4 or 5 more decades before traditional retirement age. That is one of the longest runways in all of financial planning. A small, steady contribution started at birth has more time to compound than almost any other account a person will ever open. That is the real gift here. So, how do you actually take advantage of this? Let me give you the practical moves. First, if your child was born in that 2025 to 2028 window, claim the $1,000. It's free money for your child's future, and the election is made on IRS Form 4547 or through the official government portal. There's very little reason to leave it on the table. Second, get clear on what job you want this account to do. A Trump account is a retirement head start for your child, and it is not the best tool for college. For education, a 529 plan is usually more efficient because qualified education withdrawals come out completely tax-free. If your child has earned income from a real job someday, a custodial Roth IRA can also be a powerful option since qualified growth in a Roth comes out tax-free in retirement. Different tools, different jobs. Third, if you do contribute, keep record of what went in as family after-tax money versus government and employer money if your employer contributes. That paper trail can decide how much tax your child owes decades from now. And fourth, mark a planning moment on the calendar when your child turns 18. That's the time to sit down and decide whether to leave the account alone, roll it into another IRA, or consider a Roth conversion if it's a low income year, which, if you're 18, it likely is. These are the decisions that turn a small account into a real financial foundation. Now, I always want to give you the trade-offs, not just the highlight, even though it's hard to find trade-offs with a free $1,000. But with the account itself, the money's locked up until 18. So this is not an emergency fund. Earnings, employer dollars, and the government deposit all get taxed as ordinary income when they eventually come out. The investment menu is intentionally narrow. And because this program is brand new, some of the finer rules are still being written and they could change. None of that makes the account bad though. It just means it's a specific tool for a specific job and you want to use it on purpose. Here's where I'll land. Headline is obviously the $1,000. The real value is time and tax advantage compounding for a child who is decades ahead of them. Use it as the retirement head start it was designed to be, and it can do a lot of quiet work over a lifetime. A quick and important note, this video is educational and general in nature. It is not personalized tax, legal, or investment advice, and the rules around all these accounts are still developing. Your situation is your own, so please check with your own advisor or tax professional before you act. If you have questions about how something like this fits your own family's plan, this is the exact kind of conversation I have every day. Hope this was helpful. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.